17. I don't know what to do. I don't have a purpose. I don't know what I'm going to do 10 years later. And I honestly don't know what I'm going to do next weekend. I don't have a plan, but what I do know is what interests me. I do know what I like, and I do know what I might be passionate about. A little bit about me is that my dad came from a very small village in Kerala. And he didn't have much. He never grew up with much. But when he was 19 years old, he decided to come to Delhi to explore opportunities. He came with nothing, and he transformed himself. He learned a new language, he learned what he could do, and he broke all the barriers that people around him set. Today, when I talk, I think of them as an opportunity. I think of life as not something where we create opportunities, not only where we seek opportunities, but where we step outside our boundaries and step into a world full of opportunities. When I was 9 years old, my dad told me that tomorrow you have to write an examination. And I didn't ask much. I just went into the examination hall the next morning, and I wrote it. I realized then that I was filling out an examination for a new school. I was surprised, but I did it. I didn't realize what it would mean. A few weeks later, I talk to my friends and I tell them that, oh, this happened a few days ago. And they say to me that, what are you talking about? We go back to our computer lab and we see what we're actually doing. And I realize that, oh, I might be going to a boarding school. Before I know it, I'm standing outside a campus and I'm looking right in front of the interview hall. And I'm not sure as to what's going to happen, but my father looks at the grate and he tells me, do you see what that is? And I say, that looks like a beautiful campus. I'm not sure, but it looks beautiful. And he says, that's not just a beautiful campus, that's a land of opportunities. And I realized that yes, I'm going to go there and I'm going to make something out of myself. I tried the first month, I didn't feel okay. I didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any friends, and it was difficult. But I tried everything. I tried joining new sports, I tried different activities, I made new friends, and I broke my barriers. I tried horse riding, which I never would have. I fell off the horse, and I never went back there again. I tried table tennis. I tried it for a day and left it again. I tried different activities, pottery, clay modeling, art, music, dance. And 7 years later, when I stand here, I don't think a lot of it has stuck to me. But what I do think is that I've explored. I've learned what creating opportunity means, and I've learned what opportunity you can create. So now that I think here, I say that we grow with years, we grow with experience, but do we grow just by having experiences, or is every experience a new opportunity? The greatest gifts in life are not in the plans, they're in the detours. I really think that every time we have a plan, a script, we're bored. As soon as we know the ending of that script and we explore it, we're again losing interest. But the moment that there is a detour, the moment the plan fails, there is an experience. There is an opportunity to learn. There is a direction and a curiosity to develop yourself to see what happens next. And so that happened. I came to a boarding school. I didn't know what was happening. It wasn't part of the plan. My plan was to stay back in Delhi, enjoy myself with my friends, and stay in my comfort zone with my family. But everything changed. Of course, in life, there is going to be a script. You're going to plan what you're going to do. You're going to know what you want to do. 5 years later, you'll plan that I'm going to end up in this college, I'm going to go here. But as teenagers, what are we expected to know? Are we expected to know what we're going to become 10 years later? Are we expected to know what we'll end up doing? We are. But it doesn't work that way. What I plan today might not happen. Your action, your inaction dictates your plan for tomorrow. Today, I might think that I'm going to be doing this. But if I don't do that, that is my inaction and that's my responsibility. From all that I've seen over the last few years, what I think is that there are 3 responsibilities that an individual has. The first is action. The second is inaction. And third is reaction. Each action, each reaction turns into an inevitable cycle that we live in. And now that I come across this entire concept, I come to realize that our action in action has a complete, direct, inevitable way of turning into our responsibility. It's something that we have to explore. But most people of our age, as far as I have seen, completely go into a stage of overthinking. We think, and we come to conclusions before even deciding things. Sometimes we try to decide things which are not even in our hands. So what is the reality? The reality is that don't try to take decisions and matters into your own hands which are not. If the matter isn't in your own hands, then it shouldn't be in your head. And it's as simple as that. When I go to my next topic, I talk about communication. The theme for today, we're talking about synapse. Now, for most people who study science, synapse is a concept that comes in the middle, that the small cells that connect, neurons. But if you think strategically, communication and synapse go hand in hand. They bridge people, they bridge thoughts. And so what happens when we live in a diverse land? What happens when we talk to different people, explore our realms, and actually connect with people around us? We realize how we're different. We realize how our perception is different. We realize that our action in action all lies different. And so when I come to think about it, communication is not just the key to develop yourself, but it's the way that you thrive. In a world like today, there is no possibility of surviving without communication. Each form of communication is a form of expression, and that is exactly what life takes you to be. As a 17-year-old, I haven't seen much. I've barely explored the entire world. I've barely explored the country or even the state. But from what I do know is that, from what I have seen, that communication is the baseline and the foundation of each individual. If we do not live by the words that we say, the expression that we make, or by the action and inaction that we have, is our responsibility. The first lesson that I have realized over the years is surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you. It's so important to live around people who support you, who are excited for you, who hope for you, and who are excited. I think over the years, I've made friends, I've lost friends, I've connected with people, and I've lost connect with them. But what's the most important aspect is what they leave you with. And even the better part of it is that you need to know that the people who are around you are good for you, who play positive energies with you, and actually have a difference in your life. Secondly, let your protagonist be tested. Your protagonist is what plays a major part of your life. If you think of your life as a movie, you want adventure, thrill, action, fun, comedy. All of this only comes when you let your protagonist be tested, when you let your life turn into a script that's constantly evolving and not dictated by the perception that people hold over you. There is absolutely no relevance of a world where you don't let yourself grow as a person, let your life be dictated by the perception of others around you. And which is why I really think that it's important for us to self-control, analyze, and understand what we do, how it might act or react with other people. I thought of a beautiful quote a while ago. My friend told me while I was hurting that don't chase butterflies, for they will fly away, but instead build a beautiful garden and the butterflies will come to you themselves. And if they don't, you still have a beautiful garden in the end. This quote was given by a Brazilian poet, Mario, and I thought of it and I realized that there are so many people who chase things, who chase accolades, achievements, people, and they don't end up getting them because they haven't completely developed themselves. They haven't realized how they have grown as individuals. They don't know who they are. And it's okay to not know who you are because I myself, as a 17-year-old, don't know who I am. When I'm asked this question, all I can think about is what kind of a person would I want to be? What have I done that is going to impact others around me? And that is how a person can define themselves, but there's no true communication clear about who you are and who you could be. So when I go deeper into this quote, I realize that it is extremely important for you to completely develop yourself before expecting anything from anyone else. Secondly, I really believe that it is important for a person to communicate, to grow, and to develop themselves. Today, I might feel like I've crossed a mountain, but there's so many more to go. And that is what we're looking for. We're looking for people who are always curious. The moment you restrict yourself to people's boundaries and action is the moment that it ends. Thank you so much.